that six-figure income without working full-time. I'm already making, I started making six-figure, well, it's grown so fast. I think I hit $1,000 a week, so that roughly obviously is about $52,000 a year, as of January last year. And again, I still work full-time. I told Shalene a few months ago, I said, okay, I think I'm ready now to start transitioning out of my job. As much as I love what I do for my sister full-time, I was like, I really, this is kind of the whole idea, right? To work less and make more than you ever thought possible. So I'm there. So now I can start transitioning out. So it was January of last year. What'd you say? So it was January of last year. I started making about $1,000 a week. And then, my husband and I were like, wow. And I signed him up as a coach too. So when I say numbers, it's our businesses combined. I signed him up too. And his business wasn't making anything. We didn't even do anything with his business for a long time. I just signed him up just to get him in. So anyways, I was making about $1,000 a week, and then we're like, wow, what if we were making like $2,000 a week by like next year? Wouldn't that be cool? So 1 year later, in January of 2010, I was making about almost 4,000 a week by that time. And so that was this year, winter of this year. And then now, in the last several weeks, ever since TurboFire launched, I've been making close to 10,000 a week. That's how fast it jumps. It went from 4,000, and then I had a meeting in March, and I remember at that point I was at like 6,000 a week, averaging 6,000 a week. And it just keeps jumping. I'm not putting in any more time. It's because, remember all those people I was talking about? They're still out there. They're still adding more coaches to their team. They're doing meetings like this. I don't even know these people anymore. They're just multiplying, and that's how it grows. And as long as you've done a good job making sure that you've passed on information to your team so that they know to pass it on to their team, then this works. This works. And I make sure that when I have team members that add, other coaches to their team, if I know them or if I can, I try and take them under my wing too and help them. It's so gratifying, not only when you help people lose weight, but when you help people make money so that they can do the things in their life that they want to do. Which most people will tell you, I don't care how much money I make, I just want to have more time for my friends and family. Right? That's what most people want. But why can't we do that? Because of money, usually. It's usually because of money. Why can't we do this vacation? Or why can't we go visit this person that lives? Usually it all comes down to money. Isn't it great when money's not an issue? It really makes a difference in people's lives. Not only, traveling and having the money to pay for, someone to do your laundry and someone to clean your house and someone to, do the lawn and someone to do whatever it is that you don't really enjoy doing and someone else could be doing for you. So that you can be spending more time with your family, more time with your friends, more time with your kids. That's what's important. So when you come across people that are like, well, I really don't have time for this, or I don't have the money for it, usually those are the people that really need this. Usually they're the people that need this the most. That was kind of the situation I was in. Seriously, when Shalene was like, you need to do this, and I was like, I don't have time. That's exactly why I needed to do it. So I started clearing off my plate. I was like, okay, it's gonna maybe get worse for a little bit because I know when I first start my business, it takes several months. And that's what I want to get into next, is the expectations in this business. For those of you that are already coaches or even considering becoming coaches or if you've been coaches for a while, it's important to understand the expectations of the business. Because if your expectations are too high or they're too low, there's going to be problems. So you want to make sure that you have clear expectations of the business. If your expectations are too low, in other words, you're thinking, well, I'll be a coach and maybe I'll make $100 a month, or maybe I'll make $30 here and there, at least it'll do to my website, then you're never really gonna, and that's fine, and some people are totally happy with that, but you're never gonna, make a six-figure income with that kind of mentality and those kind of expectations. Because the people that do go into the six-figure incomes are the ones that say, okay, I'm gonna dig in a little bit here, I'm gonna miss my favorite show, and I'm gonna get on the conference call. Or I'm going to have to cancel my dinner, you know, or whatever, and I'm going to go to this meeting. Because 2 years from now, my life's going to be different. It's gonna take a little digging in for a year, 6 months, a year, maybe even 2 years. But I'm gonna make some sacrifices because things are gonna be different. I'm not gonna be in the same place I was, overworked, overstressed, 2 years from now, because I'm doing something about it now. So if the expectations are too low and you're thinking, I'm just gonna make, you know, $100 a month, then you're not gonna put in that little extra time, a little extra effort that it requires to do this business. You're gonna go, it's not worth it. Yes. And even if you think it might be worth it for $100 a month, your husband or your wife or your spouse is gonna go, no. You're not making anything with this business, and I swear you could wait tables and make that in a night. So why are you doing this? You know, because they don't see how big it can be, how big it can grow. Since so few see it, few do it. You want to be in that group that does it. You don't want to be in that percentage of the people that don't see the vision. You don't want to be there. So that's if your expectations are too low. If your expectations are too high, and you think that, you know, your first week and you're saying, okay, I'm doing everything right, I'm building a team, I've added, you know, 4 or 5 coaches, and I'm still not seeing these team bonuses yet. It takes longer than that. Once you start building a team, it usually takes 4 to 6 months to really see your team bonuses start to pick up. Once you get to a certain rank in your business, you get to open a new business center. You get to open a new business that starts from scratch. So I have seen with each new coaching business that I open, what happens when you start from scratch. And it's definitely a pattern. Even if you know what you're doing and you're starting to build a team of coaches, it takes 4 to 6 months before that team bonus starts to pick up speed and starts to average $100 a week. And then it starts to average $250 a week, and then 500, 600, 1,000. That starts jumping even faster. Because when you're averaging 1,000 in team bonus a week, that means you got a lot of people growing. There's some rock stars in your downline. You may not even know who they are, and you may never know them. But there's someone else that someone else has added, that someone else has added, someone else's neighbor, someone else's aunt, someone else's whatever, and they're a rock star and they get it. And they're all in your downline. It's taking off, and all of a sudden your checks are just going. And it goes from 1,000, and then it just jumps to like 1,500, and then it jumps again, and it keeps jumping. That's why I say my husband and I were like expecting it to jump from 1,000 to 2,000 or maybe a year, and it just doesn't do that. It jumps way faster than that. I can't even imagine what it's going to be next year. I mean, it just blows my mind. We just haven't even prepared ourselves for this yet, you know? So if your expectations are too high and you think that those checks are going to come in really fast, even though you've been working it every week consistently, doing all the right things, then you're going to get early frustration. So we see some coaches that come into the business, and after like 3 months, they're like, okay, I've added some coaches to my team, and I've coached them, and they haven't really added coaches yet, and my team bonuses aren't really there yet. They're like $50, and what am I doing wrong? I'm awful. I'm horrible. They start getting frustrated. And that's not the case. It just takes time, because as you add coaches, you all know if you're new to coaching, it takes a little bit for you to start reconnecting with people, getting confident, talking about it. It takes some time. And so then you've added some people to your team because now you're comfortable, but now they're not comfortable. So they got to get comfortable. They got to go through that first same few weeks or month or whatever to get comfortable. Then they add their coaches. So that's why it's several months before it really starts to kick in. Plus, it's kind of like a numbers game. Out of all the people that you add to your team, a small percentage of them are going to be rock stars. Some people I'll have a coach that'll have like 2 people join their team, and they'll be like, neither of these 2, they're not doing anything, and is this normal, and what am I doing wrong? And it's like, you're not doing anything wrong. You just keep adding to your team, and someone's going to end up being a rock star. It just happens. They're not doing people, they're just talking to people. They're not trying to sell anything, they're not trying to convince anyone of anything, they're not being overbearing, they're not being that person that everyone wants to, avoid when they see them walk into the room. They're just being nice, approachable people, likable people that people trust and people go to for advice, and they know that they're not going to be sold on something. Those are the kind of people that really take off.